Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
So, what did you notice there? What did you notice that Kamala Harris did? I'll tell you what she did. She walked purposely across the stage, and she didn't run. She didn't make it look like it was frenzied, but she walked across quickly enough, and she invaded Donald Trump's space. She got in his face. She got right next to his lectern when she shook his hand. He's a famous germaphobe, infamous, I should say, anyhow, so she did that. He's even more, I would say, intimidating when it comes to women and women of color, so she did that and got in his face and in his head. The debate was won from there, because she had made clear she was the alpha. This is Sun Tzu shit, okay? You try to win a war before any battle is ever fought. And that's when you attack while your opponent is still preparing. Little Donnie with his little pea brain was still thinking about what he was going to do, and he got rattled. And you also win it by intimidation, and she intimidated him because he's scared of black women anyhow, and now he knew his worst fear was coming true. She wasn't scared of him. And it just got worse from there. So let's look at some clips where, again, she controlled the narrative the entire night. She established that she was the one who he would have to answer to. She wasn't answering to him.
But I'm going to tell you all, in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
So this is where she absolutely set the narrative. She trapped Donald Trump in a box. She told everybody, here's what you'll expect. He's going to lie. He's going to make things up. He's going to have nothing to say. He's going to throw out attacks and insults and be the petty guy that he is. And when she did that, what it did was it put him in this box that every time he did lie, which was constantly, and the moderators pointed it out, and when he did get caught, with attacking her and being nasty, which is just second nature to him, people remembered, oh, right, she told us to expect this from him. So it set the entire narrative. It was perfect.
To agree, the government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
And Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so, that would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border?
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. Crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse me,
President
the
Harris,
FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing.
But until that day, you are pukes. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi. But I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States. And world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact.